All right, and we are live. So we got a great co-main event here. This has the potential to be the whole friggin' main event, or I think hold an entire card on its own. Um, we got Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori, and in my mind, Robert Whittaker is an absolute champion. You saw him dominate the 185-pound division for many years. He had wars with Yoel Romero where he retained his title, and nobody could doubt that he was the champion. And you saw him fight two fights against Israel Adesanya and lose both of them. And I'm a huge Robert Whittaker fan. He has this karate background. He has a great podcast, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But you got this young, hungry guy, Marvin Vettori, who, um, he's really tough to beat. And he's at the absolute top of the heap at the 185-pound division, and he is an absolute monster himself. So it should be a really, really closely contested fight. I'm hoping Robert Whittaker takes this, but who knows? Marvin Vettori is a really tough task for anybody in that division. I think one thing that might have held Robert Whittaker back was his method of victory is very similar to Israel Adesanya, where he has to be the superior striker and kind of defend the takedown and just get to his superior striking skills. And if you get a guy who's a better striker like Israel Adesanya, then you have chances of losing the fight because you have to win it via your own striking. And I think if you could say one weakness for Robert Whittaker is his ability to make the fight a mixed martial arts fight as opposed to just turning this into a kickboxing match or a karate match where he's able to use his striking to his advantage. But Robert Whittaker seems to be on this train of being able to defeat everybody else in the entire division that's not Israel Adesanya, and he just keeps on continuing to clean out the division and just destroy everyone that he faces that's not the champion. And hopefully we'll get to see him fight for the title again. You got Israel Adesanya. He's going to be fighting some famous striker who knocked him out in kickboxing back in the day. And you could see, I forget his name, you could see him become the champion because in this 185-pound division, there's the same theme of you have to win by striking. You have to win by striking. So it would be interesting to see if a guy with good enough striking but excellent wrestling could rise to the heap of the division. And I think Marvin Vettori is a great example of an all-around mixed martial artist who definitely has great striking ability, but also has great wrestling ability. I'm going to look up now who Israel Adesanya is fighting next. Next fight. Alex Pereira. That's the guy who defeated Israel in kickboxing and may be the next UFC fight. Not maybe, is the next UFC fight for Israel Adesanya. But this is, in a lot of ways, a number one contenders fight to see who can face Israel Adesanya next, because you got the two top guys, both of which have been defeated by Israel Adesanya, looking for another shot at the title, fighting each other. And man, I wish Robert Whittaker the best. I'm a big fan of his. His 1-2 head kick is just on a complete other level. I would love to see him use it again tonight. And it's really a treat to watch that 1-2 head kick. The best 1-2 head kick I've ever seen in fighting altogether as a whole. He's coming out. He looks a little bit Grim Reaper-ish, he's got the hood on his head, and he keeps claiming that he's just going to continue knocking them down in the division until he's back on top. If you want to support the channel in any way, I have a bunch of links in the description. I got my Pellegrino here from my Amazon link. If you want to support the channel, just do all of your regular Amazon shopping. Just hit my link before you do so, and I will get a small percentage. And of course, there will be no increase in price for you, only a little tiny percentage of your Amazon purchases that you're already going to make would go to me and my channel. I also have a PayPal link if you want to support that way, or many martial arts instructionals so that you could get better at martial arts yourself. Robert Whittaker just getting the final Vaseline over his eyes and nose here by the cut man, and he's about to hop into the cage, and we're about to see a very, very high level fight. Both of these guys are absolute top tier in the 185-pound division and have the skills to have been champion many times over. And Robert Whittaker was champion for many years, doing his patented banging on his chest. And this should be a very, very interesting fight. I'm really curious how this one is going to play out. All right, tail of the tape. Robert Whittaker, 31. Marvin Vettori, 28. They're both 6 feet tall. Both weigh exactly 186 pounds on weigh-in day. Robert Whittaker with a 73.5-inch reach, and Marvin Vettori a 74-inch reach. Virtually identical on every single thing in the tail of the tape. I wonder if the half-an-inch reach will make any difference. Usually the taller fighter has a slight advantage. Marvin Vettori looking a little bit like he's feeling the pressure of this moment. One of the few Italian fighters. I'm Italian as well, so you gotta support Mother Italy. And I like his samurai tattoo. Most tattoos look terrible, but he's got some good tattoos. Bilal Muhammad says on Twitter, this one's about to be fire, and I agree. I agree. Should be a great, great fight. Azan Perez says, did Whittaker win? Azan, they are about to fight, but if you stick with me, I will be doing commentary the whole fight, and I will update you on exactly what happened. You can watch this on anything that has ESPN Plus. Right now I'm watching on Hulu that has that as well. And I think that this could easily be the main card. Robert Whittaker, longtime champion, and Marvin Vettori as skilled as it gets. Pretty much the number 1 and number 2 seed of the 185-pound division. So I'm excited. Robert Whittaker pounding his chest. They have the New Zealand flags that has the stars on it, and I believe that is the connection to his tattoo, and that's why he's pounding on his chest. Azan Perez says, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is a fighter in the UFC, and it is an alcohol, but he is not fighting in either of these. Round 1 beginning right now. Whittaker taking a karate-style stance in an orthodox stance, and Marvin Vettori in the southpaw. Again, having this, as it's referred to in judo, a kenkenyatsu, or an open stance, where Robert Whittaker is establishing some great, great range, throwing some hooks over the top, beating up that lead leg, and taking the advantage of this stance situation. Really trying to show that he's in charge. He's going to dominate this fight, and just the level of striking here from Whittaker is just beautiful. Really, he's moving at a pace and a beat that Marvin Vettori is not used to. But you see Marvin is throwing with some serious power, and if one of those connect, it could be a major problem. I think in this fight, as I said, moving into it, that Whittaker has the advantage in the striking department, but Marvin Vettori is the better all-around fighter and could mix it up with some wrestling and grappling in there as well. I wonder how this style will play out. The way that they're both fighting right now, that this is an open stance where Whittaker is with his left leg in front and Marvin Vettori is with his right leg in front. So both their hips face out, and you see the body kick, the lead hand jab or hook being a major factor, and that lead leg kick being a major factor in this stance. And those are the things that you see Whittaker taking advantage of in this stance here. Azon Paris says, what do you think? Does Gon have the power to knock someone out? Absolutely, he has the power to knock someone out. With one shot, Azan says. That's a very interesting question. I think he could knock me out with one shot. I think he could probably knock you out with one shot. But can he knock out Tai Tuivasa? You know, a lot of those guys who are like big-boned Hawaiians, like a Mark Hunt, are very, very difficult to knock out. And Tai Tuivasa is one of those guys. So it should be a really, really good fight. And I think, to your credit, Azan, with your great introspective knowledge here, you can see the great striking of Gon is very technical, but it comes on as multiple combinations are coming through. And he doesn't exactly have that ability to have that one punch knockout. So great observations, Azan. But let's get back to the fight at hand. We got 2 minutes, 13 seconds left here in the first round. And so far, I have Whittaker dominating the striking exchanges here in this open style Kenkan-Yatsu stance, which is so important. And you see Whittaker throwing some beautiful strikes to the body here, really sticking that front kick in. And you see Marvin Vettori go for the clinch, look to wrestle with Robert Whittaker and bring him to the fence. I was curious if that would be part of his strategy. And you see Marvin Vettori kind of keeping his hand low to deal with and defend those beautiful front kicks from Robert Whittaker. I wouldn't be surprised if Whittaker goes to the head from this low hand positioning of Marvin Vettori. Actually pretty shocking to see how low Marvin Vettori's hands are. And while I say that, Robert Whittaker now is starting to fight with a hands-down style, similar to a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And you really see him controlling and managing the range and distance better in this fight. Azan Perez, my apology if I said your name wrong, Parvez, says, nah, he can't knock me out. I got that titanium chin bone. Shout out to you, Azan, with that titanium chin bone all the way over where you are. Throw anything in the comments, guys. I will respond, all of you that are watching. And so far, I got Robert Whittaker dominating the striking in this very first round here. Crazy to see him in a 3-round fight when he's had so many 5-rounders in his career. Really dominating the pace and the action of this one, though, and showing why he is the #1 seed in this division. The #1 versus the #2. Great body kick there from Marvin Vettori, though. And you see Whittaker keep his hand lowered a little bit to defend that. And again, that's a byproduct of the stance that they're in. Oh, a beautiful combination almost landed for Marvin Vettori there with a knee and a beautiful strike down to hit Whittaker in the chin. I love that idea. Whenever you are able to come in with a strike, that's the end of round #1, by the way, but whenever you're able to come in with a strike and it's able to go from a height down, you have a beautiful ability to knock someone out or at least cause a major damage from that strike coming down. A lot of kicks are taught where you come over the guard and you come down and you hit that kick. And it's no different when you're throwing a punch. Mike Tyson, in his boxing instructional, when he teaches you to throw an overhand right, he teaches you to throw down into the pike. Come up from height and really dig down into the punch. And you saw Marvin Vettori try that on Robert Whittaker. Azan says, what are your thoughts on Islam versus Oliveira and Diaz versus Hamza? Do you see these fights as completely one-sided, or do you think they'd be interesting? Well, I will respond. Round two is popping off right now. Give me 1 second. Give me to the next round, and I will answer that, Azan. Please stick around because we got Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori fighting right now. Again, we see this open stance, which will be a major factor in how they choose to play their strikes in this game. And I love the beautiful front kick from Robert Whittaker. He really sticks it in and sticks it in like a jab. Really sends his hips forward into that kick. And a lot of what you're saying, oh, that 1-2 head kick, and he slips while he does it. Again, I think Robert Whittaker has the best 1-2 head kick out there, but not looking so good with a slip on it. And also, I think Marvin Vettori is aware of this and has been actively looking to defend against that kick during this fight because it's such a dangerous weapon of Robert Whittaker's. But I think Robert Whittaker's really defending the range and defending the range, using the distance really well here and dictating the striking exchanges. And you see Marvin Vettori try to go to clinch, but man, Robert Whittaker is just so good at this style of avoiding the takedown, avoiding the wrestling, and then beating you up with his striking. That's really his bread and butter A game, and that's what won him the title. But you fight a guy like Israel Adesanya like that, who is this seasoned super veteran kickboxer who has better kickboxing than everyone in the division. That's a losing strategy. But that is also the strategy of Robert Whittaker, who, rose to fame, and you see him clearly using it to great effect right now, and really his A game. And as I was explaining that, Robert Whittaker threw a beautiful head kick there. Nice establishing of a jab, and really both fighters are sort of fighting with this hands down kind of style. And Marvin Vettori trying to find a hand for a 1-2 of his own, but you can see he just looks way more labored, not as smooth, not as fluid as Robert Whittaker with his striking. You also see something from Whittaker, and this is a thing that I notice with guys who have some knee injuries. Whittaker got caught with a oblique kick from Yoel Romero and completely tore everything in his knee, where he positions his legs and his knees and his joints in such a way where they could always bend with strikes. So, a beautiful head kick from Robert Whittaker. These are causing to be a major problem for Vettori. And then the 1-2 behind it. 1-1-2, 1-2 head kick from Robert Whittaker. Great stuff. But anyway, Robert Whittaker points his toes in. So even if he is to get oblique kicked or kicked in the leg, his joint can take it rather than facing his knee directly towards his opponent in a traditionally done stance. So standing more sideways is a good way to protect your joints, and you see that a lot of times in karate-type fighters and guys who have injured their knee like Robert Whittaker. And here we see Robert Whittaker dominating this second round as well, and doing so with a lot of the things in the 1-2 head kick. Just so good with that 1-2 head kick. Azan says, Dana should definitely hire you. You have an immense amount of knowledge about MMA. Thank you so much, Azan. I've been doing martial arts myself for over 15 years. I'm a martial arts instructor. That's what I do for a living. And I have some martial arts instructionals in my description if you guys nations here from Robert Whittaker. Again, utilizing this 1-2 head kick all in different orders, where I feel Marvin Vettori is aware of the 1-2 head kick straight on. So Robert Whittaker is changing up the style, throwing the 2, throwing the 1, and then throwing the head kick as well. Thank you so much, Azan, for the compliment. And in 34 seconds when this round ends, I will answer your question above. And you see Marvin Vettori trying a head kick of his own, but just not able to find his range. And it's just really getting picked apart here. And now you see the live odds go crazy for Robert Whittaker. If you bet $100, now you'd get 800 if Vettori wins. 8 seconds left in the fight here. 4, 3, 8 seconds left in the second round. Sorry, and that's the end of the second round. Going into the third, we got a commercial break. Azan, I'm going to answer all of your questions here. So, did Buckley win? No, he did not. Imanov, the other guy who was fighting him, won. We got. What are your thoughts on Islam versus Oliveira? Islam versus Oliveira should be an absolute great fight. You see an example of Islam being able to control this middle distance of being able to dictate where the fight goes, if it's standing or on the ground. But then you see a guy like Oliveira who has incredible knockouts in his career, and he has world-class level jiu-jitsu. So it's this great mix of Islam being able to dictate where the fight goes, but Oliveira not caring where the fight goes because he's very dangerous in the striking and in the jiu-jitsu department. So that should be a great fight. I give the advantage to Oliveira. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I think Oliveira has had more championship level of experience, and he will be able to utilize that, whereas Islam is sort of just coming up through the ranks and doesn't have that same level of being in many championship fights. So we got round 3 going off right now. At the end of the fight, I will answer your Hamzat versus Diaz question. And now we see a very active Marvin Vettori trying to come out because I think it's clear that he's down 2 rounds and he really needs to make something happen here in this third round. Beautiful, again, stabbing front kick, karate type style, where you really send the hips through to Marvin Vettori's midsection from Robert Whittaker. Beautiful stuff here from Robert Whittaker. And then throwing the 1-2, 1-2, 2-1, 1-2, and switching up that head kick as well. 1-2 again here from Robert Whittaker. Really a masterpiece. His 1-2 and mixing in that teep, that front kick, as well. Beautiful stuff. And in Muay Thai, a lot of times it's referred to as a teep, but it's a front kick. And then another 1-2 head kick here from Robert Whittaker. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Marvin Vettori looking like he's trying to combine a little bit of feinting for a shot and some overhands. But the thing is, this was most famously done by George St. Pierre. And you got to get him to really believe that you're going to take him down. Oh, beautiful round kick, head kick here from Robert Whittaker. That round kick, and then a 1-2 followed right behind it, really just changing the order of this 1-2 head kick so that Marvin Vettori just does not know what's coming. And a beautiful strategy here, too, to unwind and to unravel and to give a different beat of the strikes. 1-2 head kick. Oh, has Vettori wobbly on his feet, has cut Vettori open. This 1-2 head kick, a masterclass for Robert Whittaker, changing the different beat, the different order, the different ways that he throws this, really throwing Marvin Vettori off of his game. And you could see that it's bothering him. Oh, and then throws the cross right down the middle, and just really picking Vettori apart here with the same combination in a different order. Really beautiful stuff here from Robert Whittaker. Tries an oblique kick on Marvin Vettori's front leg as well. Throwing that same side leg roundhouse kick, another virtue of the open stance here. 2 minutes, 23 seconds left in this third round. Beautiful stuff here from Robert Whittaker. I think he should win this fight. He's certainly doing everything right. Oh, beautiful. Coming straight down, 1-2 head kick. And also a thing to keep in mind here, too, is he's able to dictate the range from being able to throw different blitzes at different times. So, a nice takedown attempt here from Marvin Vettori. Comes in for a single leg, tries to chain wrestle to the double, but you see Whittaker with the immaculate takedown defense, doing a sideways stance on the cage, pummeling in his overhooks, shucks him by, and beautiful. Goes back to the center of the octagon and starts picking him apart with his striking once again. So as I was saying, with Robert Whittaker's striking, the ability to blitz, the ability to be able to move fast in and out. Beautiful oblique kick here. Snaps Marvin Vettori's knee back from Robert Whittaker. And a head kick, the same head kick unraveled of the 1-2 head kick. Really a 1-2 head kick spin around masterclass in this type situation. Azan says, "Do you teach BJJ or do you fight too?" Well, Azan, I'll tell you in 1 minute. Oh, and a takedown from Robert Whittaker. How unexpected, and a real way to cement the fact that he's winning this fight. And he's got his hand on top of Marvin Vettori's head in the turtle, really showing class and experience and such high level MMA and striking here. Really taking the number 2 Vettori and almost making him look like he doesn't belong to be in the top 3. Really beautiful masterclass from Marvin Vettori, and able to masterclass from Robert Whittaker here, always able to dart in and out with his blitzing, and not only changing the beat of the 1-2 head kick, but changing the beat of the distance as well, has served him in this fight, where most guys they'll both get in the pocket and they'll fight. Anyway, we're 5 seconds out here to Robert Whittaker doing a clean sweep of a 30-27 and time. Wow. Crazy, incredible fight for Robert Whittaker. Beautiful masterclass of striking. Beautiful ability to take advantage of the type of stance they were in. Beautiful ability to mix up the 1-2 head kick and those blitz techniques that are in karate. So, off to answer Azan's questions here. Do you only teach BJJ or do you fight too? Well, I have competed in striking events, karate events, different tournaments of all types in striking. I've competed in different tournaments of all types in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I've never fought, though, in an official cage in a mixed martial arts arena. I just had recently a surgery on my hip, so I'm currently recovering from that. So that has definitely put a halt or maybe a full-on stop to my competitive career, but I have amassed a huge amount of knowledge from a complete decade and a half of an obsession with martial arts, and I still teach. I have many private lesson students, and it is my passion and what I love to do. So no official cage MMA experience, but I have competed in striking and grappling events. And I have black belts in karate and jiu-jitsu as well. And I've also studied Muay Thai and American style kickboxing. And what was that, a 29-28 there for Robert Whittaker? I don't see which round Marvin Vettori won. Connor Jimmy says, who won? That was a beautiful victory from Robert Whittaker. And they're doing the post-fight interview now. Marvin Vettori still tough as nails and respectful on the mic. Whoa, not every day do I find people like you randomly on YouTube subscribing right now. Thank you so much, Azan. Anyone who's watching, please throw a subscribe. It really helps me out. Even you, Connor, Jimmy, even you. Mr. Playing Tricks on me over here. And we got, what other question from Azan? Diaz versus Hamzat. That should be an interesting fight. I got to give it to Hamzat as he's been so dominant in his victories. But I would not be surprised if Diaz comes out and sneaks out of here with a victory. You know, I think the question is, can Hamzat dominate right away, get a wrist pin, get a superior grappling position or superior wrestling position to elicit ground and pound on Diaz? That could be a major method of victory for him. And I also think it should be interesting, since it's a main event, it should be 5 rounds. And the later fights go, Diaz seems to have better chances of victory. And yeah, Azan says, yeah, Diaz definitely has a huge gas tank. I agree. And he has a lot of experience in the 5-round fight scenarios. And I don't think Hamzat has ever fought a 5-round fight. Now, at face value and on paper, it looks like Hamzat should win this. But you never know with Diaz. He could pull out some crazy upsets like he did with the famous rear naked choke on Conor McGregor. Connor Jimmy says, need Ty to win for 75 quid. I backed the Russian guy Robert and Ty. All right. What country are you from, Connor Jimmy? What country uses quid as their currency? I'm American, and all we know here is cheeseburgers. um, what's your Instagram? I'll follow. My Instagram is in the description, but it is simply my name, Ryan Shaloya. My name is in the channel as well. And I give free martial arts information on my YouTube. And I just did a 8-part series on how you could break all of martial arts, really, but specifically jiu-jitsu, down into different ways of manipulating the spine. And it's something that I consider to be jiu-jitsu theory, and each technique that you do is in one of these categories of the manipulation of the spine. So please feel free to check out all of my videos. I'm going to end this live, and I will be right back for the main event of Tai Tuivasa versus Cyril Gane. Should be a great, great heavyweight fight, and has a great mix of Tai Tuivasa being a great brawler with Cyril Gane being a great technician. Thank you guys so much, and I wish you all the best. I will see you on the other side. Connor Kilmore says, what's your Instagram? It's simply my name, Ryan space SCIALOIA, my name. It's in the description of this video as well, and my name is my channel name as well. So if you can't find me on Instagram, I don't know what to tell you. Throw a subscribe, and I will see you guys soon for the heavyweight fight.